Thanks so much, Carrie. Thanks for handing it off. My name is Carolyn Klimek. I'm your Enterprise Customer Success Manager here at ShowingTime, and everyone should be able to see my screen here. It reads Appointment Center Training, Maximize the Features of ShowingTime. I want to stop and say thank you again for having me today. I'm super excited to talk to you all about the Appointment Center and review this service with you. This is a great opportunity to start the year on the right foot, ensure that you're all maximizing the value of the 24/7 Appointment Center. So during this session, we'll be reviewing all the major features, functionality that's included so that you can use our service to its fullest potential. We have a full hour booked today, and while I have a ton of general content and information prepared, I do want to make sure that this is as interactive as possible. So please feel free to submit any questions you have, any comments you have on specific features, perhaps something that you'd like to specifically review. Chat those over to me, and as I'm kind of going through this content, I'll make sure that I review that chat box and we can answer all the questions that you have. But without further ado, let's go ahead and just jump right in. And again, let me know what types of questions come up. So I always like to start with the benefits of the Premium Appointment Center. So what additional features and functionality are available to you because Keller Williams Greater Metropolitan subscribes to this premium service? And I want to make sure that everyone knows all of the different features and functionality that are included. The biggest benefit of the Appointment Center is that we are a 24/7 service. So 24 hours a week, 7 days, or I'm sorry, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and 365 days a year. We have specialists working around the clock to make sure that each and every appointment request is managed and confirmed, which allows you to spend more time on marketing, finding new leads, and quality time with your clients. So consider us your personal assistants. Buyer's agents can call us to schedule on your listings. Listing agents, you can call us at any minute of any day to enter showing instructions, make updates to appointments. We can assist your sellers with appointments. Just give us a call at any time you need assistance with your listings or your showings, and we have specialists on the line ready to help you. So biggest benefit, we're always open 24/7. ShowingTime is also extremely easy to use. So it allows you to manage your business in the way that works best for you. So if you're at home or at the office, you can use ShowingTime through your desktop or a laptop computer. But if you're an agent who's always on the go, we highly, highly encourage you to download and use the ShowingTime mobile app, which I'm sure most are already using. But with the mobile app, you always have access to ShowingTime. It's at your fingertips 24/7. And then we also have tablet formatted screens if you're using the app on an iPad or other type of tablet. So work the way that you want to work. We also add that personal touch with our company branded calls and emails to agents and sellers. So your company logo is shown very nicely on all of the ShowingTime notifications that are sent on your behalf. We have electronic lockbox integrations with vendors like Supra, SentryLock, and MasterLock Bluetooth. And we offer a variety of options for electronic notifications. Again, this allows you and sellers the ability to confirm showings quickly and easily, but most importantly, in the communication method that works best for you. So whether that be a phone call, a text message, an email, a push notification, you can choose your preferred contact method. Two-way text messages are also a great feature with notifications, because with just a few clicks, you can confirm appointment requests. And then, of course, you can see all of your notifications within the mobile app too. You also have the ability to create custom feedback templates. So I do have a section here where we'll go a little bit more in depth on creating those custom feedback templates, but this is a really great tool to use so that you can capture information that's most valuable to you and your sellers and have a little bit more of those strategic conversations with your sellers. And you also have access to a few additional reporting tools. So we'll be talking about those 3 premium reports near the end of the webinar in detail, but definitely want to make sure everyone's aware that there are 3 additional reports that are available to you because of the subscription to the Appointment Center service. That's the Target Market Analysis Report, the Activity on Comparables Report, and the Pricing Benchmark Report. And those can all be found very nicely in your report section. But again, I'll make sure that I touch on each of these reports near the end. Tons of scheduling options. So again, flexibility there. Appointments can be scheduled through a variety of different ways. Again, making it super easy for buyers agents to request appointments on your listings instead of having to pick up the phone and call you directly. So agents can call our 24/7 appointment center at any time to book an appointment with one of our specialists, or they can always schedule them electronically, whether that be through their ShowingTime login, through the scheduling link on the MLS listings, or through the mobile app. And of course, another great benefit, the mobile app. We'll be talking about the mobile app for agents a lot throughout this training. But we also have a mobile app that's been designed specifically for buyers and sellers to use. So that's called Home by ShowingTime. The client app gives buyers and sellers access to listing, their showing activity, and it's a really great way to stay connected with your clients so that they are up to speed on all of the appointments that they have scheduled. It's super easy to give your clients access to Home by ShowingTime. Listing agents, you can add your seller as a listing contact, and this will invite them to download and use Home by ShowingTime. And then buyer's agents, when you're requesting appointments, if you add your buyer's information to the appointment request, that will also send them an invitation to download the client app where they can follow all of the showings that you have set up for them. Quick note I like to make here is that when you do add your buyers to a showing request, that buyer's information is not shared with the listing agent. It's only for your own record keeping purposes and to give them access to Home by ShowingTime. Just want to run through a quick few of those features that are available to sellers through that app. Again, adding a seller to a listing will invite them to download and use Home by ShowingTime. And with this app, they can review feedback that's been published to them. They can view the listing activity report for their listing. They can easily connect with or message you, and they can set up their own preferred communication preferences for showing notifications as well. So if they want to switch over to a text or a push notification, this app will allow them to do so. And again, enable them to just see all of the showings that you have set up for them on their listing. And then buyer features with Home by ShowingTime. Again, adding a buyer to a showing request will invite them to download and use Home by ShowingTime. And with the app, buyers can view all appointments or tours that their agent has set up for them. Again, they can easily connect with or contact their agent if they need to. And a great feature here is that they can also access driving directions to showings and view commute time. Before I get into the next section, I just want to check the chat here. It doesn't look like we have anything submitted, so I'll go ahead and move forward. But again, as I kind of get more deep into the content, let me know what types of questions come up. But I want to talk a little bit about your MLS integration. So another great benefit of ShowingTime is that we import data directly from your MLS, and that new data imports about every 15 minutes or so. So there's a few things that are happening on our end during that data sync. First, we are, of course, importing any new listings that have submitted into the MLS. So when you put a new listing directly in, you don't have to worry about then manually entering it into ShowingTime. The listing automatically imports during that data sync. We're also importing any new agents that have been added to your office's roster. And we are importing status and price changes on your listings as well. So if there is a 1% price change in either direction, up or down, any agent who's shown your listing in the last 180 days, as well as any agent who has an upcoming appointment scheduled, our system will automatically send out an email notification to those buyer's agents, letting them know about those price changes. So really keeping everybody up to speed on the most current and up-to-date pricing and status information on your listings. Next, I'm going to get into account setup. So I just want to review some of the best practices when you are setting up your account to use the ShowingTime Appointment Center and when you are setting up your listings. Now, many of you likely log into ShowingTime by authenticating in through the MLS, but you can also log in directly to ShowingTime via the website's login page. To do that, just head over to showingtime.com, click on the login button at the top. And here's where you'll enter the username and password for your account. Now, everyone does have their own unique username and password combination. If you're not familiar with your username or you'd like to retrieve it so that you can log in directly, I recommend clicking on this orange forgot password link, and that will resend you your login credentials. So you'll receive an email that contains the username for your account and the link to create your password along with some instructions for logging in and getting started. So again, most of you probably log in by authenticating in through the MLS, but if you'd like to log in directly via our website, you have the ability to as well. Logging in will bring you directly to your account's homepage. Now, one of the first topics we'll go over today is your agent profile, how to access it, and how to set it up. So that is where you can set up all of your contact information, default settings, notification preferences. There's two ways which you can access your profile. You can either click on your name and your picture at the bottom of the left-hand menu bar, or you could click on the blue Edit Profile button. And either way will bring you into your profile page. So if you're new to ShowingTime, perhaps, I recommend after this webinar, logging in, going to your profile settings and setting all the settings up to your liking. If you aren't new to ShowingTime, I also recommend logging in and making sure that all of your default settings and notification preferences are set up to your liking. Ultimately, it can help save a lot of time down the road. You'll find that all of your agents and office information pulls over from the MLS. Another one of the first things I recommend agents do is sync your personal calendar. That way, all confirmed appointments import from ShowingTime into your personal eCal of choice, and we integrate with all major eCals like Outlook, Google, iCalendar. You can enter up to 3 phone numbers that our appointment center will contact for appointment requests. We recommend putting your best number in that top slot. That's going to be the first number that our appointment center dials. And then you can also choose your preferred email address for email notifications and the phone number that you'd like your text messages to be delivered to. Scrolling down, we have our login information. So here is where your username will be listed, and you can adjust any of your login information at any time, whether you'd like to update your username to something that's more personal or easier to remember, or changing your password. You can do both of those things through this section here. And then moving down the profile settings, next we have our listing agent preferences. So here's where I recommend asking yourself and deciding, how do I want to be notified when appointments are requested on my listings? Again, these default settings and notification preferences can help save you a lot of time down the road, because these are the default settings that will automatically apply to your new listings that import over from the MLS. But that being said, none of this is set in stone. You can always adjust the settings on a per listing basis when you need to, when you have a listing that might require some additional or different customization. But setting it up in the default will make sure that every new listing that come in automatically has those settings applied. So under listing agent preferences, there's default settings like the appointment type, whether or not your listing should allow overlapping appointments. If you are allowing overlapping appointments, you can indicate how many appointments can take place at one time, as well as whether or not the showing agent needs to be notified of that ahead of time. And here's where you can select your notification types. So anytime an appointment is requested on your listings, how do you want to be notified? What is your preferred contact method? And you can choose between email, text message, a push notification through the mobile app, or a phone call, or you can choose a combination of these notification types if you'd like to receive multiple. Scrolling down again, next we have our buyer's agent preferences. So these are all of your default settings and notification preferences when acting as a buyer's agent. So when you're requesting appointments on other agents' listings, you can set up your preferred phone number and email address for notifications. And again, you can choose the notification types that you'd like to receive when the appointments that you're requesting are confirmed, maybe declined, maybe canceled. In this section, you can also set up how you want to receive feedback request forms from other agents. So after you've shown the listing, do you want to receive and fill out that feedback form via an email or through the mobile app? And you can also set up your default appointment type and length when you're requesting appointments as well. And then finally, near the bottom of the agent profile, you'll see the mobile app access section. Now, again, highly recommend agents download and use the ShowingTime mobile app. It has pretty much all the same features as the desktop version. So again, it's super useful if you're an agent that's always on the go. And if you don't already have the mobile app, the easiest way is going to be by entering your email address here and simply sending yourself a link to download the app on your mobile device. Or if you prefer, you can always simply go to your mobile app store and download the app from there. And it's available for iPhone and Android. You can download it to as many devices as you'd like, free of charge. And then all devices that you have the mobile app downloaded to, you'll find them listed in your profile settings. So that just about covers the agent profile and best practices for that. And of course, you can do all of those things through the mobile app too. So just like we went through with the desktop version of ShowingTime, you can also use your mobile app to access your profile and adjust any of those settings that we just went over. So that includes your listing agent preferences and notification types, your showing agent preferences and notification types, as well as all of your other general account information, including syncing your personal calendar. You can do that from the app too. And of course, anytime you need to move to a different section in the mobile app, you can do so by clicking on the menu icon that's in the top left corner. Okay, so that was agent profile set up. Again, if you are new to ShowingTime or if you just haven't accessed your profile settings in a while, I highly recommend going in and making sure that everything's set up to your liking so that it can save you some time down the road. But switching gears here, next we're going to go into listing setup. So best practices when setting up your listings with showing instructions. Here we are back on our homepage. And again, this is where we can access everything. We have our main profile information. We have a breakdown of showings that are requested and confirmed. We also have a breakdown of our feedback request forms at the bottom. But the most important box on the screen, in my opinion, is the listing notices box in the bottom right corner. Because the listing notices box is a high-level overview of what's happening on all of your listings. It includes a breakdown of your active listings, pending listings, price changes, status changes. But the most important thing in this most important box is the number of listings that need complete showing instructions. I always like to say that it's best to make sure that that number is as close to 0 as possible. And this is super important because without complete showing instructions, our appointment center might not have all the information that they need to schedule a showings, which can prevent showings from being scheduled seamlessly and quickly through ShowingTime, We want the system to work as efficiently for you as possible. We would love to manage all of the showing requests on your listing. So in order to do that, we just need those complete showing instructions. And this is a great way to make sure that all of your listings have those showing instructions complete. So there are two ways in which you can access your listings through the platform. You can either click on any of the colored hyperlinks in the listing notices tab, or you can click on the listings tab in your menu bar. Either way will bring you to an inventory of your listings, and then clicking on a specific listing will bring you into the listing worksheet. And again, here's where you'll complete all the showing instructions. So anytime you have a new listing, best practice is to go to your listing instructions and just make sure that this is filled out top to bottom. The first thing you'll see at the top of the listing worksheet are these two radio buttons labeled Allow Appointment Center to take appointments and Allow Showing Agents to request appointments online. For the best scheduling experience possible, I recommend keeping these two radio buttons set to yes. Allow Appointment Center to take appointments means that buyer's agents can call us to schedule directly. And it also means that we are working around the clock to make sure that all appointment requests are confirmed. So it's not uncommon for maybe a listing agent or a seller to miss an appointment request. As long as you have the appointment center enabled on your listing, we're being notified if there's an appointment coming up and that is in danger of going unconfirmed. So we are going to call the listing agent, we're going to call the seller, we're going to do everything that we can do up until the appointment time to make sure that appointment is confirmed. So that's a very important button to always keep set to yes, making sure that we are always supporting your listings. And then allow appointments to be requested online. This ensures that the buyer's agents can request appointments online, whether that be using the scheduling link on the MLS listing or the mobile app. So I always like to say, keep these two set to yes for the best scheduling experience possible. Heading down the listing worksheet, next you'll choose the appointment type. And there are 5 different appointment types to choose from. I'll run through them kind of quickly here. First one is appointment required and confirmed by any. This says that at least one person needs to confirm that appointment request. It might be the listing agent, maybe it's a co-listing agent, maybe it's one of the sellers. One person needs to give their approval. But we also have appointment required confirm with all. This says that each and every contact listed on the listing worksheet needs to give their approval. So it can take a little bit longer for these types of appointment requests to be confirmed, but of course it's an option that you have if every single person needs to give their approval. We also have a courtesy call. With a courtesy call appointment type, all requests are immediately confirmed and documented, and then our appointment center will place a courtesy phone call to the seller or maybe the listing agent, just letting them know that an appointment is taking place. So no confirmation needed, but we'll give the individual a call to let them know. Much like a courtesy call, next we have go and show. And this appointment type will automatically confirm and document. However, no calls will be made and only electronic notifications will be sent, like a text, email, or push notification. So again, this one does not require any confirmation. All requests will be immediately confirmed and documented. And then the 5th and final appointment type is refer to listing agent. This is typically used for complex showing instructions, or if the listing agent just really wants all appointment requests to come to them directly. So if this appointment type is chosen and our appointment center receives a call to book an appointment, we'll let that buyer's agent know that they need to contact you directly to talk about an appointment, and we will connect that buyer's agent with you. After choosing the appointment type, next you can add all of the necessary listing contacts and apply their notification preferences. So you'll find that your listing agent information pulls over from the MLS and automatically applies to the listing. And then ShowingTime then applies those default notification types that you have set up in your profile. So going back and talking about how it can save you time down the road, it will automatically apply to your new listings, but of course you always have the ability to adjust anything on a per listing basis if you need to. With the appointment center, you can also manually add your sellers, which is a huge advantage. Adding your sellers give them the ability to approve showing requests, download the seller app, and just view all of their showing activity and feedback whenever they'd like to. You can either add an existing seller, perhaps you've worked with them previously, or you can add a brand new seller. When adding the seller, you'll enter their name, phone number, email address, and click on Save and Close. Now, this is what emails your seller the invitation to download Home by ShowingTime. So add their information, add their email, click Save and Close, and that will automatically email your seller an invitation with instructions on how to download and use the app so they can follow their listing. So in this instance, we have added our owner to the listing. This is Barry Jones. And we have Barry set up to be the person to confirm the appointment requests. You can see here that Barry is set up to receive a phone call via appointment specialist. Now there's two phone call types to choose from. Appointment specialist is going to be a live representative from the appointment center calling to confirm that appointment. So it gives it a little bit more of that personal touch. But we also have a auto call option in which that phone call is made by an automatic voice and the recipient can confirm or decline the appointment using the phone's keypad. In this example, we have the listing agent set up to receive an FYI notification via text message. So listing agent doesn't need to approve the appointment request. We're going to leave that in the owner's hands, but as a listing agent, you might still want to receive an FYI notification letting you know that an appointment was requested. Or you can also be set up to be sent nothing for new requests too. And then in this third column is where you can select the notification types to receive when appointments are confirmed or canceled. Looks like I did have a few questions come in here. I haven't read them yet, but I'm just going to get through the rest of the listing worksheet and then we'll review that questions box. Okay, so after choosing your appointment type, adding your sellers, next section is appointment restriction settings. We are fully equipped to handle the appointment setting for inspections and appraisals, but if you want to handle these appointments on their own, some agents prefer to do that. You can always default these radio buttons to no, and then an inspector or an appraiser would need to contact you directly to schedule that appointment. You can also indicate the type of advance notice the listing requires and include a required or suggested lead time. You can indicate the minimum and maximum appointment length. Again, whether or not overlapping showings are allowed and if the agent needs to be notified ahead of time, and the maximum number of scheduling overlaps allowed if you are allowing overlaps. And there are two types of showing rules that can be added to listings as well. In the event that you need to restrict showings, or maybe you just need to make temporary changes to your appointment settings. So let's talk about those two types of showing rules. First, we have a showing restriction, and applying a showing restriction will block out dates or times when appointments are unable to be scheduled on the listing. Good example I like to use is perhaps there's painters in the home and you don't want to have any showings during that time. A showing restriction can be entered, which will prohibit appointments from being scheduled on those indicated dates and times. So in this example, it's just a timed rule. It's occurring for just one day from 8 to 3 p.m. But you can also set it up on repeating rules. There's a lot of customization you can do when you need to add showing restrictions. And then the second type of showing rule is a showing exception. And this type of showing rule will Essentially change any of the showing instructions for, again, an indicated amount of dates and or times. So that might be changing the appointment type, changing the listing contact, maybe it's the access information. And a good example I like to use for when you might add a showing exception is perhaps your sellers are going on vacation for a week. And during that week, they want to change the appointment type from one that requires their confirmation to a go and show. That way, all appointment requests will be automatically confirmed and documented. No one will have to wait for any sort of approval. That is a good use case example for when you might add a showing exception. And again, it will essentially just change any of the showing instructions that you have entered. Once you add a showing rule, you'll find that it is nicely visible directly on the listing worksheet. And when the showing rule expires, it will also automatically delete itself as well. Next section we have is the access information, and here's where you'll indicate how the showing agent will access the home. Maybe that's via a lockbox, or perhaps the listing agent, co-listing agent, or seller will be providing access. If there is a lockbox on the home, you can choose the type of lockbox and then enter the serial number, the location of it, the call before showing code. You can also set any alarm details and manage any key sets that might need to be picked up from an outside location. And the most important note that I like to make here is that this access information is only shared with the showing agent after the appointment is confirmed by all necessary parties. So you don't need to worry about this sensitive information getting in the wrong hands. It's only shared with the showing agent after the appointment is confirmed. And near the bottom, you can enter any additional notes that our appointment center should know when we're scheduling appointments on your listings. Or you can enter notes for the showing agent. That might be asking them to leave a business card, asking them to leave the front porch light on. You can also add or click on this Add from Predefined Notes button, and this will bring you a bunch of options regarding pets, access info, and other general notes that are commonly left for showing agents. And finally, most important thing here, whenever you are filling out or making changes to your showing instructions, always make sure you press that green Save Changes button at the top of the screen to make sure that all of those new settings apply. Just want to take a quick peek at the questions here. Thanks, Carrie. It looks like we have an answer. It's a question about downloading the mobile app. You can go to your app store, look for the ShowingTime app there, or you can go into your profile settings and send yourself a link. Any other questions? Please don't be shy. Please send them over. So that was entering showing instructions using the desktop version of ShowingTime, but of course you can use the mobile app to enter your instructions at any time as well. So we're making it super and easy for you to access and edit your listings when you need to. Just head on over to the View Edit Instructions section, choose the listing that you'd like to enter showing instructions for, and be able to do so right through the mobile app. Of course, with the 24/7 appointment center support, you can always just call us too. If you're driving and need to change something really quick, just give us a call. We're happy to help. Okay, so that just about covers listing setup and best practices when you are setting up your listings with showing instructions. Next, I'm just going to talk through the different ways that appointments can be scheduled on listings. And there's a variety of different ways, again, making it super easy for buyers agents to do so, depending on the method that works best for them. The first, and of course, a very popular way is by calling our 24/7 appointment center directly. We can be reached at 800-SHOWING. So you'll want to include this number on all of your listings in the MLS so that agents know that they can just pick up the phone, call this number, and we will take that appointment request. Agents can also schedule appointments online, and they can do that by logging into their ShowingTime account and clicking on the Schedule a Showing link. Appointments can be scheduled while you're on the go by using the ShowingTime mobile app, and again, clicking on the schedule a showing icon. And then finally, appointments can also be scheduled by using that scheduling link on the MLS listing. Super easy for buyer's agents to do so. They just got to locate and click on that icon or that link. This will initiate the scheduling process. They'll be able to view all of the listing details and select their preferred notification types for confirmation. And then they can either click on schedule a single showing, or they can add the showing to a showing cart, which I do have some time built in to review. But in this example, let's say that we just clicked on schedule a single showing. This will bring the agent to the scheduling screen. Any blacked out section indicates that there's an appointment restriction in place, so appointments are unable to be requested during that time. Gray section indicates that there's a suggested lead time. The buyer's agent will also be able to see any appointments that they already have requested. That way they can avoid double booking themselves. And then finally, once they're ready to choose the time slot that works best for them, they'll just verify all of the final details, the type of showing, the latest time might be at the property. This is where you can choose to add your buyer's name if you wish, which again, will invite them to download the client app. And again, buyer's information will not be shared with the listing agent or the seller. It's for your own record keeping purposes and to give your buyer access to the app too. And then once that appointment request is submitted, you'll be notified of the status of the appointment. So any listing that requires a confirmation, the notification that you receive will look like this, but listings that are set up as a go and show or a courtesy call, those will automatically be confirmed and documented. Looks like we are still doing good on questions, and I'm doing pretty decent on time. So I do want to leave in showing cart and talk a little bit more about it, show you how you can create a buyer's tour. This is probably one of my favorite features of the platform. So if you are looking to schedule multiple showings in a day for your buyer, I highly recommend setting them up with a showing cart. First thing you'll do, and currently this does need to be created in the desktop version of ShowingTime. As we improve the app and roll out with the next generation of ShowingTime, you'll be able to create showing carts in the app, but right now it can only be done in the desktop version. So when you're doing that, you'll just choose the tour date. Again, you can add your buyer if you'd wish and enter the description of the tour. Next, you'll add the listing ID numbers in this search bar. You can either add them one by one and click on Add Listing Stop, or you can enter them all at once and separate them by commas and add listing stop. And then you will add those listing stops to your showing cart. The showing cart will also list what type of appointment the listing is, so it'll give you a heads up as to whether or not confirmation is required. And then you can view all of the listing stops on the map below too. You can also add a note to a specific listing. Perhaps there's something you want to mention to your buyer about the property, and that note can be entered as a free text. You also have the option to add an other stop. So you'll want to use this button if you plan on making a stop somewhere that's not an MLS listing. Maybe you want to begin the tour at your buyer's home or your office, or maybe you want to plan for a lunch stop along the way. You can also add any non-listing stops to your showing cart as well. Now, once you have all of your listing stops added, you might find that the order in which you've added them don't make the most logistical sense in terms of, driving around town. So we don't want you and your buyer driving all around town back and forth. So we have the Smart Routes feature, which will shuffle the listings into the route that makes the most logistical sense. So you'll just indicate which listing is your number one stop by selecting it as number one, clicking on the Smart Route feature, and then it will shuffle those listings as well as give you turn-by-turn directions between each listing stop. Once you have all of your listing stops in logistical order, next thing you'll do is pick the appointment time for the listings, or for the appointments and listings. Another cool thing about this feature is that it shows you the distance between each listing stop, as well as the estimated time that it would take to drive between the two listings. So using these two tools, you can determine what the best time might be to request an appointment. It also shows you showing availability for that listing too. Of course, when picking the appointment times, you'll enter the start time, end time. Here you can enter any notes for the listing agent that you'd like them to see. And then click on Send Requests to initiate the scheduling process. After sending those requests through, you'll find that the appointment status then updates according to the listing's appointment type. So any listing that requires confirmation will be shown as requested as that approval process takes place. But listings that are a go and show or a courtesy call will be confirmed automatically. And of course, if you add your buyer to the tour, they'll be able to follow the tour within their mobile app that they download. But you can also email the tour to your buyer as well if you'd like to. Just enter their email address and they'll be sent a high-level overview of the tour that you've created for them. And it includes all of your agent contact information. It has a map of the route that you've created for them and all of the listing stops in numerical order. Again, once you've created the showing cart in the desktop version of ShowingTime, you're on the go, you'll be able to access that showing cart through your mobile app. So just click on the tour that you'd like to view. It will show you all of the appointment details and showing instructions. From here, you can even cancel the showing if you need to, or you can click on the directions icon and receive turn-by-turn directions between each listing stop, and it syncs with the preferred map service on your mobile device. We already talked a lot about notifications, but I do just have a quick run through of the different notification types that agents and sellers can choose from. Of course, we have text messages. These are really great because the appointment request is texted directly to the agent or seller's mobile device, and then they can either respond Y to confirm the showing or N to decline the showing. So it's a two-way text. You can also receive those notifications through email. And of course, through that email, you can confirm or decline the appointment requests. You can choose to receive a phone call. Again, there's two different options for phone call types. You can either receive a phone call from a physical appointment specialist, so a live person from the appointment center, a little bit more of that personal touch, or we have our showing voice feature, which is an automatic call. And then finally is a push notification through the mobile app. Now you do have to have the mobile app downloaded in order to opt into these notifications. And here's an example of what those notifications might look like on your iPhone or Android device. For anyone who's not super familiar with a push notification, it's just like a text message. That text alert will come directly to your mobile device home screen. Clicking on that banner will bring you into the mobile app where you can take action for the appointment. And finally, we have in-app messaging also in the mobile app. So this allows agents to message other agents that use ShowingTime directly through the app, where all messages are recorded and stored. So it's really nice. You can keep track of all the different conversations you're having with agents. Next section I have here to review is feedback and reports. This is actually our final topic. So we're doing great on time. We've got about 10 minutes of content left, maybe less than that. And we'll make sure that we have plenty of time at the end to open it up for questions. You can ask me anything. Starting with feedback, before we get into the reports, we have feedback templates that can be fully customized with unlimited open-ended and multiple choice questions. And you can create as many feedback templates as you'd like. So some agents like to get very creative and create different feedback templates that you can use in different listing scenarios. When you are creating your custom templates, you can either create a brand new template from scratch, or I actually think the easiest thing to do is to just clone our default template. And then you can use a lot of the content that's already there, but then you can adjust the questions or the language to your liking. Within the feedback settings tab is where you can indicate what to do with the feedback once the showing agent has submitted it. So more often, agents do choose to hold the feedback for review. That way they can review all the showing agent feedback before it's published to the seller. But you can always create feedback templates where the feedback responses will publish to the seller automatically without you having to do so. Under the feedback form tab is where you'll enter all of the questions into the template. So you can add, again, as many or as little multiple choice and free text questions as you'd like. And you can add or remove those multiple choice answers by clicking on the red and the green circles. And just to give you a better idea of the workflow of these feedback notifications, the feedback request forms are automatically sent to the showing agent after the scheduled showing. And the showing agent will receive that request via email or the mobile app, however they have their default settings set up in their profile. Once the showing agent submits their feedback, the listing agent will then be prompted to review it. The listing agent can then publish the feedback to their seller by clicking directly on the link in the email they receive. Or you can also publish the feedback to your seller by toggling the button in the mobile app. Your seller will then receive that published feedback via email, or if they have the client app downloaded home by ShowingTime, they'll be able to view and access the feedback that's been published to them in that app. The seller also has access to the listing activity report. It's a pared down version of the listing activity report that you see as an agent, but it's still a nice comprehensive report that includes all of the appointment details and published feedback. So the seller can view their listing activity report by clicking on the View All Feedback button at the bottom of the email they receive, or they can log into their Home by ShowingTime mobile app and view their listing activity report from there. This is the seller's view of the listing activity report as seen through the desktop. So again, this report gives the seller the ability to view all of the listing activity details. They can see a snapshot of the total number of appointments on the listing. They can see pie charts of that listing's feedback, total number of appointments, all the listing's activity details. It's a really great comprehensive report to give them a high-level understanding of what's going on their listing. And then agents, of course, you can access that listing activity report through your mobile app at any time as well. So when you're on the go, you can view a summary of all the listing activities, all the feedback that's been received or that you're still waiting on, and you can view all of the details of the listing activities as well. And this truly is our final section of content. Well, I will talk a little bit more about help and training resources and how to access our support team if you need to, but reports are a huge thing with the appointment center too. We have a variety of detailed reports that you can access, and it provides a ton of useful data and material. So let's talk about those 3 premium reports that are available to you all. First premium report is the Target Market Analysis Report. So this report shows which price ranges are producing the most number of showings. So it can really help when you are determining a key price for your listing, whether that be a starting price or maybe you've just been having some difficult pricing conversations with sellers. This is a great report to pull and show them so that they can get a better idea of how many showings are occurring during or within specific price ranges in the marketplace. This report's really great because you can filter your results by time frame, price range, price increments. You can also fine tune a little bit more by entering a specific city or a zip code. And after plugging all that in, you can see how many showings are occurring within a certain price range. So perfect report to generate and share with sellers when, again, you're determining a starting price or maybe when you're just having a pricing adjustment conversation. The second premium report that's available is the Activity on Comparables report. This report provides a breakdown of all agents that have scheduled on appointments on listings in your office. So again, with this report, you can filter your results by time frame, focus on specific price ranges. And this report will generate information for which agents have shown comparable listings in your office. So it's a great report if you're trying to source out new leads or a buyer's agent that is showing comparable listings to their buyers. You can reach out to them and say, hey, I have this listing at this price range, this number of bedrooms. Is this something that you'd be interested in showing to your buyer? And the third premium report that's available to appointment center users is the pricing benchmark report. This is another great report. This is a newer report. It was actually just added, I believe, last June. And using this report, agents can also view local market data and important details on comparable listings in the market, which gives a little bit more of that competitive edge. Again, can help guide those strategic pricing conversations. It will show, exactly, it can help you show your seller exactly where their listing stands in the marketplace, how many showings they're seeing in comparison, how many price ranges they've had in comparison. There's a lot of great things on this pricing benchmark report, so highly recommend checking that out. And with about 5 minutes left, we'll close up. Before I open it up to any final questions, I just want to point out our extensive help and training section that's available. Love this. I always go in it if I'm looking for an article, a resource that I want to send to somebody. But in here, you can search by keyword or topic using the search bar. You can browse different training topics by category. You can also access a number of video trainings and PDF resources. This is our FAQ section. It's a lot of the same general content and information as our help and training. But what I want to point out here is that we have tech support. We have our appointment center available to help you whenever you need help. So our tech support, this is our appointment center. Our appointment center is available 24/7, 365 days a year. They can be reached by calling 800-SHOWING. And then our technical support team is open 7 days a week as well as the hours listed. So you can give us a call, you can choose an email, or there is a chat now feature in the mobile app. Please reach out to us if you have any questions, and we'll always be happy to help you out. And with that, just a final review. I have covered all of the content that I have prepared. So as far as next steps go, I recommend obtaining the username for your account and the link to create your password if you need to. Downloading the mobile app, of course. I recommend logging in and looking at your profile settings, making sure that all of your default settings and notification preferences are set to your liking. Also recommend looking at your listing, making sure that all of your showing instructions are complete and filled out. Review any of those help and training resources that are available. And then most importantly, be sure to include the appointment center scheduling number on all of your listings in the MLS. And that is truly where I close up with just a few minutes left. So again, I just want to thank you so much for having me today and all of you taking time out of your busy schedules to join me. I hope you take advantage of the many benefits and features that the Appointment Center has to offer and reach out to us whenever you have any questions.
I have a question now. Can I ask it?
Yes, please. I'm opening it up to the group.
Okay, thank you. So I have a showing scheduled for tomorrow at I think it's 1 o'clock. And it didn't give me any of the details. It said ShowingTime app. I have to hit showings I have requested, and then under lockbox access details, I guess. What does that mean? That means I have to have the app in order to get the information to go for the showing?
So you have requested an appointment on another agent's listings?
Yes.
Okay. And you have in your app, it's showing you that there is an appointment confirmed.
So when I requested it, it didn't give me any of the access details. It just said showing time app, and that I would have to go under the tab showings I have requested.
When you go to that showing, do you see access details in there?
No. No. It didn't give me any of the access details.
Okay, it's
It
probably because unfortunately, maybe the listing agent didn't enter them. So I would recommend using the chat feature maybe and just
okay.
yes.
It said use the showing time app when I'm at the scheduled appointment. Like, it's not going to release any of the details until the scheduled appointment, I
Okay.
believe.
What it might be, we also have a feature, it's called secure access,
Okay.
where agents can set that up, which will only deliver the access information within a certain time window. So it's
Okay.
possible that that's what that agent has set up.
Okay.
And when it's time for you to go to the showing, the system will recognize that it's within that window, and then it will reveal that access information to you.
So is it going to send me then so you get notifications through text or email. So do you think within like 15 minutes of that showing, it'll prompt that and give me the details?
As long
Or do
as
I
that
have
listing
to
agent has
absolutely go
entered
on the
it.
showing time app,
As
which I
long
thought
as
I
you,
had, but I don't.
yeah, definitely get that app. Because that is, that's you have a scheduled appointment, you go into the app, you look in that appointment, it's gonna show you all of the details, including access information.
But like on a text, it gives you the link, or on the email, which is comes up on my phone. I usually just like open them up and I have the details there. Say, for example, I forgot to write it down, all the details, and I go there, I go, I forgot to write it down. I just hit the link, or I go into the email and it opens up and gives it to me. In this case, it didn't give me any numbers. It just said use the showing time app. It might be what you said, a
Yeah,
secured
I would
access, like
say
they're
it's
not.
either the listing agent didn't provide any access details, and so there's nothing for us to send to
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
or they have secure access set up where you'll receive the access information
Okay.
within that window.
Okay. Well, we'll see. Otherwise, I'll
Yeah,
be waiting in the cold tomorrow.
call us, call our appointment center. That's what we're like, you can call us and say, if you haven't received it,
Yeah.
call us and we can contact the listing agent, try to get it if it is something that's missing. But that's thanks for the question, Maria. And
Okay.
yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome. I gave myself about a 5-minute buffer time in case we ran over. So is there any other specific question or feature functionality I can pull up my demo account and show? Just want to make sure that we are addressing any questions, comments, or concerns before we close up today.
I just wanted to make a comment that maybe not all the agents know that they can use that once everything is entered in showing time and they've got their listing ready and all the information is there and they can upload a picture and they can set out a notification blast to our agents in our office
Mhm.
or other agents. It's just another way to promote your listing, and it's easy. It's really just one button. And
100%. Let
you can
me,
use that also if you have changes in the listing, like in price or in status changes or something, or you can do a notification if there's an offer deadline or things like that.
yes, in fact, I will pull that up really quickly and that can be kind of, again, I know we're over time, but that's a really great. Okay, so what Maria is talking about is a great feature. So let's make sure that everyone else is aware that it's available so that you can use it in those scenarios that Maria just explained. So I'm logged into my demo account right now. When you log in as agents, you'll only see this agent home tab, but the admins in your office, they also have this office home tab where they're able to see activity across the entire brokerage. So what you can do, which Maria is referring to, is I'm going to head over to one of my demo listings. Again, this is where we fill out all of those showing instructions. This is where we can access the listing activity report as well. But there is a send notification feature here. It's the 6th blue bubble down. If you click on send notifications, it's going to give you a few different options. You can do just that. You can send notifications. So you can send a notification to any agent who's shown the listing within the last 180 days, including future appointments. You can send it to all agents in your firm. There are 2 different types of messages that you can send. You can either send a price adjustment message, which has all this content already filled out for you, or you can send an other type of message. Maybe you're sending out a highest and best or whatever the case may be. But of course, you can adjust any of the contents, make it a little bit more personal if you'd like to. Here is where you can also see where those emails or to who those emails will be sent. So if you needed to, you can deselect some recipients. You can even add new recipients. Maybe they haven't shown the listing yet and they don't have a upcoming appointment. You can also manually add them. But yeah, this is a great way to manually send notifications regarding your listing and give individuals the most updated information.
Yep, love that.
Great question. Thanks.